Hello, Spring Nuts. Here we are once again for our second edition of Spring Nut Spotlight. And today we have a really special guest. It took me months to get this guy on to agree to do this thing, even though we decided to do this like 2 days ago. This is the famous, who I call the prodigy. And many of you have seen on Facebook Live and in our group, and many have had the pleasure and the honor to see him perform live at our serenades and other events. He is an amazing kid, not just as a musician, but as a person. And folks, he's only 16 years old, okay? And he's done more than I think many people will do in their lifetimes in as far as the music business is concerned. But it's my pleasure, it's my honor, and proud to call him my friend, the amazing Jake Thistle.
Oh, I really appreciate it, Howie. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for asking me.
No, thank you for getting back to us so quick. So first and foremost, again, you know how we feel about you. You know how the group feels about you. You're an amazing talent. So, the first thing I want to get into, just diving right into this thing is tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into all this, and we'll take it from there.
Well, the point I like to start at most when someone asks something like that is early February of 2008. I was 3 years old at the time, and I was.
Calling your hand at 3 years old already?
Yeah. My parents decided it would be okay if I stayed up for half of the Super Bowl, thinking maybe I'd get into football or something. And I don't remember a single thing about the game, but I remember that halftime show that Tom Petty played, and I was just completely mesmerized. To this day, I'm convinced it's my earliest memory. And I would go on YouTube. I guess it was the earlier days of YouTube, and I couldn't really read or write yet, but I kind of knew where to press on the keys, and I'd look up Tom Petty, and it would recommend other videos. And so that's really how I got into all this classic rock stuff. And I have to admit, I really didn't even listen to Bruce all that much for that duration of before I learned how to play guitar when I was 9. But growing up in Jersey, I'd play out in the street. Someone would go, I play a Bruce song, and I said, I don't know any Bruce. Jersey, you're playing a Telecaster, you don't know Bruce, So I learned one or two songs of his, and I was just a fan ever since,
That's it's crazy that at 3 years old, your ear, gravitated you towards, rock and roll. I mean, a lot of times well, first of all, I got to say this. So I always tell your parents whenever I see them, I said, I need to know what you had that night. What'd you drink? What'd you eat? I know your mother's a big fitness buff. There's something in those shakes that she takes. Because whatever's going through that bloodstream of yours is amazing. Okay. So 3 years, and you're already, not many kids gravitate towards rock and roll. They gravitate towards lullabies and Sesame Street and, Mr. Rogers' Neighbor. But I
like the Wiggles as well. But
Well, now you really make it because my kids like the Wiggles as well. Okay. But I'm not putting you in the same category because that's not something my brain is going to process right now. But it's amazing that you gravitated to Tom Petty, and I guess what I'm trying to think is so when you go to school and all your friends, I'm assuming are into these pop, because of age, I'm saying, they go to pop and something, more of the popular stuff, and you're doing Tom Petty and Jackson Browne and Springsteen. Do they think it's out of the normal? Do you have any problems with that?
No, not at all. My friends are pretty, diverse when it comes to music and their tastes. So, I have some friends that, I have a friend that's a good saxophone player, so he likes to listen to, jazz and things like that. And then I have friends that really like rap, or, friends that, I have one friend that likes Frankie Valli a lot. So it's
Yeah.
I'm pretty lucky. I have kind of a diverse group of music, so I don't think mine is necessarily more out of the ordinary. I definitely am more into the classic rock than I think they are into any genre of music, just because it's such a big part of my life. But I don't think, at least not anymore, because now, I've been going to the same I'm just about to start my junior year of high school. So for the most part, I've been with a lot of these kids since kindergarten or fifth grade or something like that. So now I'm the kid that likes Springsteen, Petty, and plays guitar. So I think they kind of already know that meeting me because I try to be very involved with the school, and I'm in the pit orchestra. I play guitar. I'm in choir and jazz band. So I think word kind of has gotten around already that I like that music. So I don't think it's anything out of the ordinary.
That's great. I mean, that's good that you're even able to, I know me going to school and I didn't play guitar when, 16. I'm not even playing guitar when I'm 51, so it doesn't matter. But the thing is that, I was always into rock as well, except I was into Barry Manilow at one point, but that's a different subject. The thing is that at least you guys seem like you have such a great ear for music, whether it be jazz, whether it be, like you said, rap or whatever it may be. I just, so when did you start, like, you got your guitar, how did that first come about? You got your first guitar, how did you go about telling your parents, and, tell us that story.
It's pretty interesting, actually. My dad's friend's son is an excellent guitar player, and he started at a pretty young age as well. And he's older than me, though. I think he's in his 20s now. So he was always, when I was really young, he was my age,
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, he had this little, cheap guitar that he learned on. It was his first guitar, and he'd since gotten a bunch. He was into metal music at the time, and so he wasn't really playing it. So he gave it to me when I was really young. I was probably 4 or something like that, and I didn't know how to play, but it made noise, and I saw Tom Petty holding a guitar, so it was a cool thing to have.
Right.
Being obsessed with music, and I never played it whatsoever. But then, as he started getting more into music, he was thinking, well, maybe that was my first guitar. For sentimental reasons, I kind of want it back. So he was going to take it back, but he felt really bad, taking this guitar away, even though I didn't know how to play, whatever. I didn't really mind. So he gave me another guitar, kind of to trade off, and it was an Epiphone SG. It kind of looked like, it was one of those guitars. So I thought it was just, now that I have this is a new guitar that I got, and they were nice enough to give it to me, the least I could do is actually learn. So he taught me my first couple chords, and then I learned on YouTube a lot of it too. But it's interesting because I didn't really learn based on a lesson program. I wanted to learn songs.
Mm-hmm.
So the first song I learned was "Won't Back Down," Tom Petty, and it's got.
Well, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but so you're telling me you never had lessons, you just did this by ear.
For the most part, I've been really fortunate to play with a lot of people that have helped me, and since then I've had, no regular lessons, but I've had some, Skypes with people who.
Not fair.
And,
it's not fair. Life is not fair.
I appreciate it.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying. So the way I learned was kind of like, well, I really want to learn "Won't Back Down," and those chords happen to be E minor, D, G, and C throughout the whole song. It alternates. So I learned those chords, and then I wanted to learn "American Girl," and it uses those chords, but then there's an E and an A. So now I know those chords,
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of how it first started out, very casual, and then it kind of just snowballed into something that I really, really enjoy.
So when your parents saw you, evolving at that age, what were they saying? I mean, how were they feeling? Were like, did they, obviously I know who they are, so they I'm sure they encouraged you, but when they were seeing what was manifesting in front of them, what were they saying?
They were always very supportive, and I remember the first gig I ever played was at this open mic night in Hackettstown, New Jersey, and I'd really only been playing for maybe a little over 6 months or something like that, and so they were very supportive of that. And I think it went well. I don't know.
and you weren't stage fright or anything, just knowing the guitar after 6 months. You just went up there and it was like, "Hey, let's do this."
Yeah, I'm very grateful that I don't really get any stage fright when I'm holding the guitar or with an instrument. I find that's really when I'm least nervous, when I go on stage. And I don't know, for whatever reason, also I noticed the bigger the crowd, the less nervous I get. I've played, I've been really fortunate to play to some bigger crowds, and I don't know, I don't know if nervous is the right word, but every once in a while, I don't know. I'm very fortunate not to really get nervous, but I think it's just because I really, really like it, and so I'm grateful to be doing it.
I feel like I'm interviewing Bruce right now. Because when you look, I've read some of Bruce's interviews and listened to some of his stuff, and he's like, he's down when he's not playing, and when he's up there, he's having the time of his life, and that's when he's not, depressed. And you would think that when he's off stage, he gets the downtime, but no, it's when he's up on stage in front of thousands, he feels his most comfortable.
For sure, it's a powerful thing to be up there. I've played gigs. I shouldn't admit this now with everything going on, but like earlier, I played gigs with 103 fevers and things like that, and I felt awful, and then I got up there, I was fine.
Like I should call CVS. Yes, but anyway, I know, just speaking with you and seeing some of your stuff, I know that you played with some really crazy legends. It's just, it's unfathomable to me, that someone in your age and has connected with these people. I know you played with the Heartbreakers, if I'm not mistaken. I know there's some other people. I want you to tell the stories, but tell us some of the people that you have played with live and how you hooked up with them, and what your experiences were with them.
Sure. I've just been so fortunate. I learned so much just from watching great musicians. So getting to play with them is something really special. But you mentioned the Heartbreakers. That was I played with Ron Blair, who's the bassist, and Steve Ferroni, the drummer. They hired me to go out and play a gig with them in LA in October. And so that was a really, really good time. They were doing kind of like a all-star jam for the Tom Petty tribute thing. And so I got involved with that in a couple different ways. Yeah, I've always been very active in the Heartbreaker community. They have, Tom Petty Nation, like you had your group. And I always say the Springsteen fans and the Petty fans, I'm always so grateful because they are always the most supportive of music and covers and sharing things, and it's so great. And so I've gotten involved with them, and it's gotten me to do some really cool things. And I've done things in Gainesville for the Petty family and name and everything like that. And so I really appreciate getting to meet and play. And his family and the band have been so supportive. He sent me front row tickets to one of his shows on his last tour.
Wow, that's great.
Actually, I got to go back and meet meet all the Heartbreakers. I didn't get to meet Tom because he wasn't feeling well that day, but they've all just been so supportive, and I really appreciate it.
You played with John Prime also? Prime?
Oh, I didn't know. I played with John Hiatt though.
John Hiatt, that's what I meant. I'm sorry.
John Hiatt is he's one of my all-time favorites as well. He's a really nice guy. It's funny. A lot of people think that I get into this music because my parents played it around the house, and even though they like this music too, that's not necessarily true for Tom Petty. I saw the Super Bowl show, and I kind of got them into Springsteen. But I will say, give credit, my dad has always been a big John Hiatt fan, so cool. I always heard that around the house. So when John Hiatt, he was coming around on tour about 4 years ago, over 4 years ago now, and my dad said, "Oh, why don't we go?" So we went with my mom, my grandmother. But before we went, I learned "Have a Little Faith in Me," which is like one of his most famous hits, and I sent it to him, and I said, "Hey, looking forward to the show." I didn't think anything of it, and he came back for his encore and said, "There's like a 12-year-old in the audience tonight," and he sent me a video of him playing, and he sounded great. And for whatever reason, I'm thinking, I can't believe there's another 12-year-old here. I did not register at all, but he said if he wants to come up, Jake Thistle. And so I went up and played with him for his encore, and then I talked with him a little after, and I've gotten to talk with him since on the tour bus another time when he was in New York. I've seen him, I think, just about 8 times. It's funny, just last night I saw him at a virtual concert.
Oh, really?
It's a really, really cool thing. I'll tell it just because
go ahead.
Springsteen does something like this, but it was like a Zoom concert, and there's 2 ticket prices. You could get balcony tickets, and it's where I think it was $40 for 2 shows, and you sit there and you watch them on Zoom, or you could pay for front row tickets, and with that you get a question to ask him, a song request, and he could see you.
Wow. And
so it was really cool. So one of the shows was last night. The next one is next Monday. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Can't believe it. It says a 12-year-old. Okay, I'm having a hard time with the 16-year-old. A 12-year-old is in the audience, come up on stage, and I mean, it's crazy. But you're, like I said, you're very talented. You way beyond years, and you deserve it. And I just want you to say a couple things to the people that are watching this. Is that so? I didn't know Jake at first. How we met is that we were doing, we already had our first serenade in the bag, and then it, went fantastic. And then, okay, we were planning the second one, and we wanted to expand on it, and we wanted to have, live acts, and Danny Clinch and Tina opened their gallery to us and said, we want to, do this with Spring Nuts this year. And they opened up the gallery. And when we put the word out there, who I like to call our counterparts over in England, Pauline and Stephen, they run the group E Street Fans. And they said, listen, you should take a look at this guy, Jake. He's, amazing and whatever. I said, sure, let me see. And then all of a sudden I see this kid on the stage. I'm like, well, where's his father? Where's the guy that's playing? Why are you showing me this kid for? He goes, no, this is him. This is the kid. This guy is great. I said, okay. And I started watching, your stuff. And I said, wow, this is great. But as amazing as it was, and I say this about a lot of the artists that I've dealt with, when I met you at the Serenade itself, okay, first of all, I was blown away just the way you carry yourself. And I even told that to your parents. Forget about the musician side. You're an amazing kid who's way beyond his years. But when I saw you play in front of me, I was like, and it wasn't just me. I mean, I remember Julie was just sitting there. I was picking her up off the floor, and everybody else was in the audience was like, they couldn't believe what they were saying. And I think everybody just kept on saying, it's not that it was a bad thing. It's like, how old is this kid? Because we never really experienced someone in front of us that was that young, that was playing these type of songs. And these were not easy songs. Okay. These were songs that were like, I'll even bring up one thing that I expect. Actually, two things I just want to bring up that really stuck out about me. I remember one time, the last one in Serenade 3, you decided to play Jungle Land. I'm looking at Julie. I'm like, how's he playing this song without a sax? Okay, this is like the biggest risk this kid's going to take. He's going to blow it right now because. How do you play Jungle Land? Jungle Land is all about the sax, right? And he's about to play, and you played that guitar solo, and I'm telling you, you dropped me. I could not believe. I forgot that there was even a sax solo in the song, okay? That's how good it was. And then the second thing I'm going to say is that one of the other requests that came in that day was Racing in the Street, and that was for, I think, Karen Howard, if I'm not mistaken. And I turned over because she dedicated to her husband, and I turned to the side and they were bawling. Okay. They were crying like nothing. I couldn't believe that's how much you touched them and that your performance would touch them. So, it's just, your playing is amazing. I thank Pauline and Stephen for introducing me because it's, you're a staple of the Serenade. No question about that. We don't do it without you. And I will say one last thing, and I want to continue on with you, but I just don't want it to get lost in transition. But every time that I've asked you to do something for the group, first of all, you never said no. Second of all, that not only did you not say no, is that whenever, even especially with the virtual Serenade and even the last Serenade, you are always about charity, and you're always saying, okay, what can we do to raise more money for the charity? It's not about your performance. It's not about your notoriety. It's not about any of that. It's always say, okay, what can we do? You know what? Let's do this. I'm going to take dedications and we'll donate. And each one that pays, we're going to put that towards the charity. And that I always felt was amazing. And you raised alone, despite what we were doing with the event, you were raising tons of money for the charities and on your own and on your ideas and on your merit. So for that, I think people should know that it's beyond the music what you do and the good deeds you do for the Spring Nut and for everyone.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I really like to learn songs and be introduced to new music. So I like getting requests, whether it's in one of the live feeds I'm doing or people requesting for charity. So I'm trying, like Real World, for example, was a song I'd never heard, and for one of the serenades when we were auctioning off songs, someone requested that, and Dan didn't take it and Matt didn't take it, and so I said I do what they didn't know, just because Dan's with the band and Matt has to travel and everything, so like because I'm close, I could
right.
I play it all the time now, so that's a song
Oh, it
I
was
probably.
amazing. I remember when you did it. It was an amazing rendition, and that's another thing. A lot of things that you do. I mean, it's funny because people throw these requests at you, and it's almost like stump, stump Jake, and it's not. See, I think what people appreciate as well is that you're not playing them exactly the way Bruce may have done it himself. You're making it your own, which makes it special, and that's amazing. I remember recently you just, we were sitting there and you did a 7-hour show,
Yeah.
which was the record breaker. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. It's something that we still laugh about today. And
I couldn't either.
I don't remember how many songs you did, but it was crazy good. And the fact that you were even standing after 3 hours is totally amazing. But that's just like a testament to you, to who you are. I wanted to. So, what was it like when you went to England and you played for the E Street fans?
Oh, it was great. It was really interesting. The first Bruce song I learned was "No Surrender," and it was kind of, I learned it almost passive aggressively because so many people were telling me to learn Bruce, and it was to the point where like so many people were telling me that I almost didn't want to learn it because everyone, oh, you're telling me, all right, then I won't. But anyway, I was like, all right. No Surrender. It's the first one I clicked. It's got simple chords. I like the song. And so I learned it, and it did really well on all the pages I put it in, and I really appreciated the support. So I said, oh, well, the fans are really nice, and I liked that song, so I might as well start listening to more Bruce. So the next song I did was Thunder Road, and that one did even better. And that's still one of my favorite, probably my favorite Springsteen song to this day. But I got a message on Facebook that said, I own a hotel in England. I want to fly you and your family out, give you a room, and we're doing a Springsteen weekend for E Street fans. So obviously that's a scam, right? They want this 12-year-old, I was 12 when he sent the message. They want this 12-year-old kid, they're gonna fly him, whatever. So when I found out it wasn't a scam, that's one of those things where I was supposed to do multiple 2-hour-long sets of Bruce music. I did 2 songs. That's the type of thing that you really have to just say yes, even though. So I had like 4 months or something like that to learn as many Bruce songs as I could. So that's why, like, I learned Jungle Land. Like, I probably wouldn't have learned that when I did if it hadn't been for me just trying to learn every song I came across. And so I went there and I did it. And the only song I didn't have to bring any lyrics, which I was happy about, except for The Rising. I don't know. I've never told anyone, but I just have a mental block with those lyrics. When I always mess up the like blessed life.
Oh yeah, dream of life.
You can never get that order right. So those are the only lyrics I had to bring. But other than that, it was such a great time, and I met so many fantastic people out there. Other than Pauline and Woody and everyone like that. But
did you meet Martin during that time?
I did, yeah, and that's great. It was so great to see him. That's the first time I met him, and so it was so great to see him. At the Serenade the next year. I miss him this year, but
yeah, we missed everybody this year.
Yeah, that's right. And Jerry Brennan was a guy out there that I played with, and he's amazing too. And there's so many great musicians out there and great fans out there. And it was my first time off the continent, which was cool.
So what did your parents think when they said, when they told you they want to fly you off to England to play this gig?
Well, we all thought it was a scam, and then it took some convincing. I'd have to get off from school for like a week, but it just seemed like too good a thing to say no to.
It's amazing.
So we did it, and I think I was in middle school at the time, so I think my school thought it was cool as well. They didn't really seem to mind.
Mm-hmm.
I really like school, and I take it very seriously. So I made sure all my work was done, But yeah, because I know if my grades don't get good, I'm not allowed to go back to England or LA or.
Well, you're definitely motivated, that's for sure. I would be motivated too if I got to play. I would have done much better in school if I was able to. So you played England, and that was a success. I remember Pauline telling you to, you played, the Serenades, and I just want, not for me. You already know my story and whatever, but I'm just saying. So, what was your experiences like playing the Serenades? People coming up to you. Do you have any stories as far as how they felt seeing you? Anything that you can relay to us?
Yeah, it was my first time at the Danny Clinch Gallery, and I mean that's just such a cool place, especially to play. And so that was really special, and it's always great when I go to the serenades or even like those Tom Petty things in Gainesville because I interact with so many people online
Hmm.
that when they tell me their name, I can say, oh, that's you. Okay,
Right.
I know you. And so it's good to put a face to the name or recognize a profile picture to what they look like in real life. And so I love doing these things and talking to everyone I talk to online and making friends. Not just people I meet for the first time, but then I see them again next year and the year after that, and then I know their name better when it comes across my page, and I appreciate them listening or whatever. So I appreciate it, and we see each other, different
Right.
places anyway, because there's so many events. I mean, I guess not now, but like, I recognize people when I go to concerts or whatever.
Right.
A couple there, so it's always great to meet the people that I already know online, meet them in person.
So how many times have you seen Bruce in concert in general?
I've only seen him, I guess, 3 times technically. I saw him at MetLife.
Which
Um,
which show? The first, second, or the third?
the
I'm just
third.
kidding. Oh, that was the one.
Yeah. And I guess that was almost, I'm looking at the date, I guess that was almost 3 years ago.
Yeah, August 30th.
Yeah, almost 3 years ago.
Mhm.
And then I saw him on Broadway. A fan was nice enough to send me tickets to that, which was just absolutely amazing. And
That's
so
great.
appreciate that. And that was obviously an awesome show. That was also in August. I just passed that anniversary a couple of days ago, and then I was there at the Paramount in January.
Oh, is that for the in
The light of
January?
day when
The
he
light of day,
sat
right,
in.
right, 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 right. Okay, good. That's excellent. That's excellent. So, what are some of your favorite? Not so much that what you play because you play it, but what are some of your favorite Springsteen songs in general?
Well, it's always changing based on I don't know, what's going on or
Hmm.
whatever. So like, I mean, always Thunder Road.
Hmm.
I love. I really like Moonlight Motel too. That's one of
Yeah,
my favorites.
beautiful song.
That whole album was great, and I still listen to it. But something about Moonlight Motel just like comes through for me. I've been thinking about Racing in the Street a lot because well, I've always liked that song. But when I was learning that song, now I play a lot of piano. So if I were to learn it now, I would just put it for a piano Saturday or whatever. But I didn't play piano back then, so I was learning it on guitar, and I was looking at covers on YouTube, and there was this guy that had an acoustic and playing it, and he was really good. So I listened to his own music, and his name was Justin Towns Earl. He was Steve Earle's son, and he
Oh
just passed
yeah.
away the other day. So I've been
Oh
listening
my
to him a lot.
God. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame, but anyway, so that's why that one came to mind. Is just because that's I associate that song with Justin as well, just because that's the first song of his I heard, even though it was a cover. But so it's those type of things that kind of changed the song I'm listening to. I was listening to Rosie a lot because I've never officially learned Rosie, but people keep requesting it. So by now, I get all the words right.
That's good. It's a
I
hard
used to
song.
have to mumble my way through them, or
Thank God for the teleprompter.
for sure, yeah. His songs are wordy. I love them though.
Yeah, especially the
That's I
first.
always laugh when he inducted Jackson Browne into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm sure you know, but in his speech he said, something like, "Oh, the first time I heard Jackson, I thought, damn, he's good," and the second time I said, "Damn, I need less words."
Right. Well,
But
that's funny. Just to pass a story out to now that you're saying that, like, me and Jake, we always, we try to bounce ideas off of each other as far as what we could do for the group, as far as performances or whatever. And then I said, why don't we do a full album? And Jake's like, yeah, and then I'm like, you're saying he's wordy, and then the album he wanted to pick was the first two, which is Blinded and The Wild and Innocent. I couldn't, even if I had the teleprompter, I couldn't say those words. And I said, like, you want to tackle those two? I mean, they're great albums, but definitely wordy. But just again, if anyone could tackle it, it would be you. But let me ask you a question. So you're telling me again, so you didn't have any piano lessons. You wanted to learn certain songs, and you taught yourself as well on the piano.
yeah, a lot of guitar players can kind of fiddle around on the piano, so I really like to arrange songs too, and that's why a lot of them are not note for note, is because I don't have the E Street Band behind me, and I'm never going to try to sound like I do because I don't.
Right.
So I'm always trying to redo things. So like for Racing in the Street, it was never really a problem for me to play it on guitar. I liked playing it on guitar. But there was a Tom Petty song called Southern Accents.
Yeah, great song.
It's one of my favorites. And now I can do it because I'm better at guitar. But when I wanted to learn it, I could not get it to sound good on guitar.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of learned it. I taught myself on piano. It didn't really sound good either because I couldn't play piano. But
oh, stop! I'm still trying to figure out how you learned to play piano at your age by yourself.
So it didn't sound good really just because I didn't know. But then I started getting a little better. I started playing more. I learned how to play the Walnut Guitar Gently Weeps intro because that's all piano. And then a Piano Man. I figured I had to learn. Right. And then I started playing, and then my school has a great music program. So I went into a class called Piano Lab where you kind of learn, and so that really helped me a lot too. And because I already had a pretty solid foundation to work on because I've been playing guitar for so long, I was able to go through the curriculum pretty quick, and so I had some time at the end of the year to learn whatever songs I wanted. And so that was really fun. I learned Summer Highland Falls, which is one of my favorites. And I learned the intro to Backstreets and the end of Layla. Wow. So it was like my type of class. And the teacher, Mr. Gizzy, he's a huge Springsteen fan too, and he plays a lot. He's a great piano player and saxophone player. So he plays a lot with.
We got to get that man a shirt.
he plays with Dan Amato all the time. He was also. Dan Amato.
Does he? Oh, okay. I didn't know that. That's great. Well, you guys, Dan, Matt, and yourself, you guys make a great, team when you guys play the Sunday. I mean, when you did American Girl, the last one, you blew the roof off the joint. It was great. It was really, really great. It was great stuff. And I really wanted to get Alexandra in and to join in that,
For sure.
Thing. But God willing, things will clear up, and then we'll get to that place in the sun, right?
Yeah.
So I got some rapid questions for you now, okay?
All right, sounds
so let's see how we go. Okay, first of all, do you have any groupies now?
No, I don't think so. I have some. I guess on Facebook I have top fans. I don't know.
Well, I see some of them go crazy when you're playing. So, so no groupies.
I guess not. No.
All right, so let's get to this then. It's a very important question. I got a lot of requests for this. So do you have a girlfriend?
No.
Yeah, I've got to make sure that we change that.
With the music stuff,
I hear you. I'm just ripping on you. So, do you have any favorite lyrics that really resonate in you? And it doesn't. And this question will be a little bit broader for you because I know where your music goes. So, it doesn't even have to be Springsteen. It could be Petty or Browne or whatever. Something that's always stuck with you.
Yeah, I mean, I listen to all these songwriters because they're so great at similar things, but also very different things. Like Springsteen, for example, is in my opinion, just the best at story songs. You can't get better than The River, really. You know, so that whole song. If I'm trying to write a song and I'm like, all right, well, if I want it to be a story, how did Bruce do it? And how did he do it in The River? Or Ghost of Tom Joad. All those songs, Moonlight Motel, and he's so good at painting pictures. So, I don't think any specific, lines. I mean, of course there are lines that stick out to me, obviously because, they're such great poets. But, for me as a songwriter, I'm always thinking of, why did they write this song? How does this song, when they put it on their album or at a concert, what's its purpose? Why is it in the set? Why is it on the track list? And I should have a song that serves a purpose because it's an important purpose. So I'll listen to, a Jackson Browne song, a Springsteen song, The River, whatever. And so it's the specific concepts that really resonate with me.
Gotcha.
The story songs or the, repetition songs. There's a song like Jackson Browne's newest song is called Downhill from Everywhere. And every line starts with downhill from the factory, downhill from the so that's really cool. I don't have any songs it's just these concepts that kind of speak to me, and I think, okay, why do they do that? How can I try that? And that really helps me when I write my own songs.
Great. So let me ask you. So I know you've been writing your own stuff too, right?
Yeah, a lot.
And are you planning to come out with an album, something coming out?
Yeah, I was supposed to be in the studio now and before a little bit, but it's been closed because of everything. So I have a new soundboard that can record and overdub, and so I've been recording a lot. I've recorded about 10. I'm gonna release 12. Relatively soon, probably in the fall. And it's nothing, huge studio production. It's just
No, but it's great.
it's pretty much demos. It's me with an acoustic guitar and then some light overdubbing with piano and some lead guitar. And then I walked over to Guitar Center the other day. I got
Oh,
Shaker here just to
Julie's very good at that, by the
oh, awesome.
way.
just to add a little bit of percussion in there. So it's nothing super big bandy, but I think so far it's coming along good, and I'm really proud of.
What do you tend to like to write about? What do you, is there a theme to the album, or is it just something that, is just coming together,
Yeah, it kind of just came together. I've been writing for pretty much as long as I can remember. So most of these songs are recent. I have songs like I've played a couple probably on this album that I played at the Serenade or whatever. But like one song I recorded, just finished recording is a song called Hometown, and I wrote that years and years ago, and then I just probably 4 or 5 years ago, and I just dressed it up. I rewrote it as 16-year-old Jake, and I kept some of the elements I liked from 11-year-old Jake.
Gotcha.
And then there's a song that I just recorded too that I wrote like 3 weeks ago. So for this one, because when I started writing, it was just to learn how to write songs. I didn't have any end project in mind. So it's really just different things, and I try to look anywhere I can for songs.
That's great. I mean, it's just amazing that at your age, and now I'm not joking, just saying in general that you were able to do all these things and write songs, learn the piano, learn the guitar. I mean, it's an amazing thing. It's really great to watch, and and I'm saying this again, not kidding, was because I met you, about I would say about 3 years ago. That makes you 13. Okay. Okay. And, I feel, and I think a lot of people in the group, when they got to know you, we're watching you grow up in front of us, you know what I mean? Where you're a kid, and then you're becoming this, man, and especially in the music field. And it's a great transformation to watch. I mean, and, like I always tell you, I'm like, don't forget us when you become big and be playing stadiums. I don't care who you are. I remember the Spring Nuts. And I feel like this is great because I got this interview before you came big, so I can always say that I was one of the first. This is a keeper. Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing journey that we're watching in front of us, and we're getting to see all the Springsteen groups. We all adore you. Obviously, you're a huge help to my group. You've been a huge help to me personally whenever I needed you to come through for me, and I always appreciate it. I always tell your parents that as well. How I remember the first, Serenade you came down, I was thanking them up and down for driving you there, I mean? And, it was great, they're great people, really great people. But, I definitely would love, to get a copy of that when you put it out. I know many of us, would like to see. And I know that, for people who, are new to the group and are not familiar with Jake, he has his own YouTube channel, right? Is that correct?
Yeah,
okay.
It's Jake Thistle, and then there's links to it all on jakethistlemusic.com.
Yeah, and then check out his Facebook page. He's got all the links there as well. You got to see it to believe it if you haven't heard him. We've definitely, and we're trying to get him to play again. We're working things out, for some, stuff to do in the group again. I know this is going to be impromptu, as they say, but it's, and this is totally your call, and there's no pressure, only because, even if you say no, there'll be thousands of people watching this and say, well, Jake said no. But would you want to play a song to get us out?
Sure.
You could pick anything you want. Just anything you want to do. I know it's not, your recording microphone thing, and it's not supposed to be. This is, off the cuff and just you having a good time. So it's not something, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I don't know how well it will sound over Zoom, but if it's a train wreck, I'll just send you something.
Okay. No, well, you do what you feel you're comfortable with. Yep.
All right. So can you?
I got you.
You can hear
I
everything.
always just I don't know if you always see it on the feed. I always tell whoever's running the live feed if you could use the big pic you have on the back wall.
Oh,
That'd be great one day. But
so
go ahead. Oh, you.
that's really heavy. That's
I'm sure.
a fan sent that from Texas for my birthday, which is really nice.
It's
So
beautiful. It's really, really
maybe
beautiful.
it was Christmas, I think.
Really beautiful.
Cool. So I'll do. I'm trying to think. Okay.
Whatever you want.
Particular you want to hear? Anything?
Yeah. No, I want this to be from you. Whatever you come to your mind and you're ready to go with.
All right. Sounds good. I'll do a Springsteen one then, I guess.
Oh, that for sure.
I'll tell a story for this one too.
Yeah.
I did this one for Acoustic Sunday, so if you don't mind hearing it again. But at my school, they have something called a like a culture festival, and people can dance, from wherever they're from, or sing. So someone played like a Spanish style guitar from his heritage. We had a group of girls did a like an Indian dance, and so they asked me to be a part of it because they know I play a lot, and so I was trying to think of my culture, because my family's been here as long as I can remember. I guess technically I'm Irish and Italian, but my Irish side has been here pretty much since the Mayflower, and the Italians, been here a while too. So we're pretty American, so I wasn't gonna do any of that. But I chose this song as my culture, So
Go for it, big man.
when I was raised at a steel in the swamps of Jersey, some misty years ago, through the mud and the beer, blood and cheers, I've seen champions come and go. So if you got the guts, mister, if you got the ball, if you think it's your time, step up to the light. Bring on your wrecking ball. Bring on your wrecking ball. Bring on your wrecking ball. Yeah, take your best shot. Let me see what you got. Bring on your wrecking ball. Well, my home is here in these meadowlands, where mosquitoes grow big as airplanes. Yeah, the arena's filled, blood is spilled, and the Giants played the game. So raise up your glasses, let me hear your voices call. 'Cause tonight all the dead are here, so bring on your wrecking ball. Bring on your wrecking ball. Bring on your wrecking ball. Come on and take your best shot. Let me see what you got. Bring on your wrecking ball. Yeah, we know that come tomorrow, none of this will be here. So hold tight to your anger. Hold tight to your anger. Hold tight to your anger. And don't fall from your feet. Now when these steal these stories have drifted away to rust, and all our little youth and beauty have given to the dust. When the game is decided, you're burning down the cloud, and all our little victories and glories They've turned in a parking lot. Hill when the game is decided, and you're scattered in the wind. And hard times come, hard times go, hard times come, hard times go, hard times come, hard times go, hard times come, hard times go. Yeah, just to come again. Bring on your wrecking ball. Bring on your wrecking ball. Come on and take your best shot. Let me see what you got. Bring on your wrecking ball. Yeah, take your best shot. Bring on your wrecking ball. Bring on your wrecking ball. Yeah, yeah. Bring on your wrecking ball. Oh.
Wow, that's perfect, perfect. Hard times come, hard times go. That's perfect. Jake, I really appreciate that. I know I caught you, off guard on that one, but I know you would be able to pull it off, and it sounded amazing. So thank you for doing that for us.
If it didn't come through Zoom, well, I could just send you a version if it's easier. Whatever you think will sound best.
Well, you put it on the B side of one of your release singles that's coming out, but I wanted this. I felt this would be the best way to end the session is by you showing off who you are, and it was amazing as usual. So thank you, Jake. And I just want to say, to close once again, thank you for coming on. It was really fun. It's always fun talking to you. Thank you for all you do for the group. Thank you for always helping me out. Thank you for always coming out to the serenades. Thank you for always raising money for the charities. And I really, like I say to everyone, God willing, this thing will end soon. We'll all be together, get to do this, in person. And you're a great kid. Keep on the path that you're on, and I have no doubt you're going places, and you deserve only good things, Jake.
Oh, I really appreciate it. Thank you for having me. This was a great time.
My pleasure, big man. So that said, that is our second episode in the books of Springnut Spotlight. I hope everyone's continuing to enjoy this. I've gotten a lot of requests that you guys want to do it, so I'm trying to knock them out as we come. Recordings we'll do when it works for you guys, and then we'll put it out a couple of times a week for to keep it fresh and be able to see everyone will be able to see each person without getting distracted. Anyway, I want everyone, please be well, please stay safe, please stay smart, mask up, and wishing you only the best of everything. Peace out, peeps.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.